Welcome back to the channel, Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're going to be taking a look at the RavenStrike Battleforce, the Adeptus Astartes Vanguard Christmas boxed set. If you haven't checked out the previous breakdowns, we've done one so far for all of the Warhammer 40k box sets for points, viability, and how to expand out into a full army, as well as a broad breakdown for each of the box sets for pricing and overall savings. So check those out. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe for daily videos for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, Horus Heresy, pretty much any of the Games Workshop games. So that being said, let's jump right in. So here's our RavenStrike Battleforce, starting right off the top with Kayvaan Shrike. So if you are going to go with Vanguard, this is an auto-include for you. He is the Chapter Master. He's really good. He's the only Primaris Marine with like a traditional jump pack. So he's very mobile. He gives lots of synergy to your army. And he hits pretty good as well. He's got a nice little gun, decent combat weapons, etc. So 135 points for Shrike. Definitely a good choice for Vanguard. And it's important to know too, if you're not familiar with Vanguard specifically. Alright, so the cool abilities that the Vanguard have that separate them apart from all the other Space Marine Legions are their chapter tactic, which is Shadow Masters. And essentially what that does is, each time you target a Vanguard unit, if you're more than 18 inches away from that unit when you target it, it gains the benefit of light cover. So that's going to benefit everything in your entire army, as long as it's targeted from 18 inches or more away. And then the second part of that special ability is, if a range attack is made against an infantry unit with this tactic, and it's within terrain, if the attacker is more than 12 inches away, they have the benefits of dense cover, which is -1 to hit. So essentially they're +1 save if they're more than 18 inches away when they're targeted, and they're -1 to be hit if they're in cover, they're infantry, and they're more than 12 inches away. So there's definitely some cool factors to it. The other special ability they have is, while they're in the tactical doctrine, when they target a character, they're +1 to hit and +1 to wound. So that could be pretty strong against things like Primarchs or Demon Princes, pretty much any character with like 9 or more wounds that you could target with just anybody. Obviously, the snipers work really good because they can ignore Lookout Sir rule, so that's a primary unit in this army. So typically they're going to do pretty good with sniping, especially against characters or just overall against characters. And then obviously they want to kind of play like shadow games and keep their distance, so they gain those extra benefits from cover and everything. So some pretty cool stuff. All right, and then next we have the Phobos Librarian. The Phobos Librarian is okay. The problem here is that essentially when they take their psychic powers, they don't get it from the regular discipline of the chapter. They get it from the Phobos discipline, and it's just not the best. Vanguard has some cool psychic powers, but again, if you're going to take a Librarian, you probably just want a regular one. You could run this Librarian as just a regular one if you wanted. Not that big of a deal as long as your opponent knows what's going on. So next we have the Reivers. So you can take 10 Reivers as one unit, or you could take 2 units of 5. They are 180 points. They do have some potential upgrades that they can purchase. They have access to either the grapnel launcher or the grav chute for 1 point per model. And essentially what that does is, the grapnel launcher lets them outflank, like come in from the sideboard edges at later turns in the game, and the grav chute lets them deep strike more than 9 inches away from enemies. So either way, you're pretty much going to take one of these, and then you're going to use that to strategically deploy. Now again, the main issue with the Reivers is they're just not that good. They're okay, they're good because they're Space Marines, but in comparison to other things you could take in their points cost, they're just not ideal. So we see a couple non-ideal choices in this box set right off the bat. So then next we have the Eliminators. These are an excellent choice for this list. So we have them up in the top left-hand corner up here. So there's 3 Eliminators. Those are your snipers. The Eliminators are only 75 points. There's 3 of them. They have a bunch of cool abilities when they get shot at. They're pretty nice, honestly. They have good range. And the best part about these is they were good when you could take their sniper rifles, or okay, I should say. But when they made the las fusils free, that's when they got really good. So the truth is, I would slap the las fusils on these guys. 3 of them basically with like special las cannon weapons. Really, really good. So 75 points, you're going to be able to just delete units. If you can find a character or something out in the open, or you have access to like a light transport, something like that, these things are going to pick it up off the board. Again, if you have an opponent with like a Demon Primarch or something like that with over 9 wounds, where these guys can go after them, they're basically hitting on 2s, likely wounding on 3s, maybe 2s, depending on what you're shooting at. Very, very strong with the +1s. And then next we have our Invictor Warsuits. So the Invictor Warsuits are cool too because they have, again, like that strategic deploy. So they are forward deploy, so they can basically start 9 inches away from your opponent. So right off the bat, you have basically like 2 dreadnoughts in your opponent's face, ready to just cause mayhem. And they have pretty cool weapons. They have like a autocannon or a special flame weapon, and then the real damage is from their fist. They do hit pretty hard as well. So when we're taking a look at everything in this box set, there's a couple choices that are less than ideal, but overall it is nice. It is definitely fluffy and flavorful. Everything in the unit has either some kind of like forward deploy or outflank or cool ability like that. It meshes well with the overall like chapter tactics and the benefits that they have, even though the actual composition is not necessarily ideal. So let's take a look at the overall points and explore further. All right, so here we have the full deal right here. So when we add up all those points, put them together, we're basically looking at 810 to 855 points. So a little shy of 1,000 points. They don't have a lot of buffs that you could add on to them or trim off. Detachment-wise, you're going to have everything you need for a Vanguard detachment. The only requirement for the Vanguard is 1 HQ and at least 3 elites. But you can take multiple HQs and you can have up to 6 elites. I did accidentally leave off. There's 1 heavy support here as well. So you will have 2 HQs. You will have either 3 to 4 elites, depending if you use the Reivers as a 10-man or 2 5-mans. And then you'll have 1 heavy support as well. So it is a fieldable detachment, which is good. Would I buy multiples of this detachment? Honestly, no. Honestly, no. Because the Librarian model is not ideal. You can't have 2 Shrikes in your army. You could only have 3 Warsuits in your army. And you don't want another 10 Reivers. So when it's all said and done, you'd basically be buying this whole box set a second time just to get 1 more Invictor Warsuit and then another squad of Eliminators. So you could just buy that on your own. There's no reason to get 2 of these. So what about the Combat Patrol? And there are a bunch of different Space Marine Combat Patrols. There's not one specifically for the Raven Guard. So we're just going to look at the generic Vanguard Combat Patrol. All right, so here we have just the generic like Vanguard Space Marine Combat Patrol. And we'll see here, there's a little redundancy, but it's the Eliminators. So there is another squad of Eliminators. They're cool because they're a different pose, but the stuff in this set is the easy to build stuff. So you don't have options for the las fusils, which is unfortunate because, we just talked about how good those are. But it's not necessarily a bad thing if you have 1 squad of regular Eliminators with the snipers and 1 squad with the las fusils. I'm not opposed to that. And then also you're going to get 10 Infiltrators. You do have like a Helix Gauntlet and a Grenade model and everything. They're pretty cool models once again. You're going to want to probably split those into 2 units of 5 Infiltrators. They're going to block out other people deep striking, give you some good board control. Again, they have access to that forward deploy, so they're going to fit well with the army. And then next on top of that, we're going to have the Lieutenant. So we do have the Phobos Lieutenant down here in the front. He's going to give you a reroll 1s to wound. Not bad. Again, special deployment rules, etc. And then we have the suppressors up here. So the suppressors are basically like jump infantry, and they're equipped with autocannons. They have cool abilities on their autocannons where if they shoot a unit, that unit's not able to overwatch on that turn. So they have the ability to turn off overwatch, which is cool. They're mobile. You can drop them where they want. They have pretty good range. So they're going to be able to utilize the special abilities of the Raven Guard. I say they're basically a perfect fit for this army. And then finally, we have the transport tank, the Impulsor as well. Impulsor's not bad. You have a couple different options on it. You can put a top gun on it. You could put a shield on it. There's lots of decent stuff, but that's going to be your transport for some of your guys. Overall, I think this is a really nice fit. Goes well with Raven Guard, fits with the chapter tactics, and it's a nice bundle set right here. So just popping back over here, I would say multiples, no, but Combat Patrol, yeah, I would go with the Space Marine Combat Patrol. And if you do combine those, you're going to have roughly 1,415 points to 1,495 points. So you're a little shy of your 1,500 point mark, getting close to a full 2,000 point army just with the Christmas box and the combat patrol. So what if we did want to fill out that 2,000 points? What else do we need? Well, I would say first off, we need one more troop squad. Probably some intercessors, at least like 5 of those, maybe 10. You could do regular intercessors. Those are pretty good. Or you could do the assault intercessors if you want a little extra punch. Maybe something like a storm speeder. Again, it has good range. It's pretty mobile, so it can get where it needs to be, cut off like line of fire, and essentially utilize its special abilities for a little more survivability. And then another option would be some Redemptor Dreadnoughts. Redemptor Dreadnoughts are really strong. You're going to have the forward pressure from the Invictor Warsuits. So having some Redemptors follow up, laying down some nice firepower from a distance as they move up, and then having another wave of assault coming in as well. The final thing I would say is maybe some of the upgrade sprues. This doesn't come with any of the upgrade sprues. It does come with some decals. But the reason it doesn't come with upgrade sprues, someone actually pointed out and made a very good point in the comments, is because it's all Phobos Marines. So none of them actually have upgrades in the set. So really, if you're going to get some regular guys, you may want to buy some upgrade sprues as well. If you're going to go with the combat patrol, though, you may not want to go that route because it's easy to build models, so the shoulder pads are already attached. So I think this is a decent set considering, obviously the Raven Guard are not very strong right now. You don't see a lot of people playing them. I think this would make for a fun army. You would definitely have some cool tricks and everything like that. But you're probably not going to be tabling anybody or anything like that. Matter of fact, you're probably just going to be happy if you win a game. So unfortunately right now, Raven Guard not the best in the meta, but it doesn't mean that there's not going to be some potential into the future. They do have some cool chapter tactic abilities. Having the ability to basically get +1 to your save on everything, including your vehicles, is always good. And then also being able to have -1 to hit on your infantry, again, very good. And, that's if they're more than 12 inches away and you're in cover. So that's not that hard to ensure that you always have that ability. So I think decent army overall, fun little set and everything like that. RavenStrike Battleforce review, I would say not bad, not bad. Obviously, if you're going this route, you're playing them for the fluff, you're playing them because they're cool. You're not necessarily going for a strong army in the meta currently, and that could change at any time. So that's a wrap up for the Raven Guard, RavenStrike Battleforce. Let me know what you think down below. Are you excited for this one? You're going to be picking it up. Do you have any other tips or anything? Are you currently a Raven Guard player? Did I miss anything important? Make sure to leave it down in the comments so other people can see it as well. And if you are into daily videos, reactions, reviews, and news, or painting, modeling, conversion tutorials, check out the playlist. And we do daily videos for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, Warkai, Horus Heresy, pretty much any of the Games Workshop games. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.